Hello, YouTube. Hello, Trump supporters. All right, first and foremost, ignore the title of this video and the thumbnail. I'm testing out YouTube's algorithms. You know, YouTube constantly changes their algorithm and stuff, and to grow your channel, or get your videos exposed and stuff, you've got to try to work with the algorithm. So I'm testing out some ideas to see if I can get the algorithm to promote my videos again. That way we can try to grow the channel, because I am trying to grow the channel right now because it's looking like it might become a major source of income for my retirement. I want to retire and not really have to work, unless you consider doing YouTube videos working. But it's more of, I don't know if it would be considered work, although it is kind of work, but in a lot of ways pleasant, because you only have to work when you want to. You only do the work if you want to do that work. So in that way, I don't know if it'd be work more than something you enjoy doing and getting paid for it. But I want to let you know that I don't think Trump supporters are really that stupid. Okay, that's not true. I think that honestly, when you start categorizing people by groups, it's really bad, because people get categorized by groups and stuff because it generates like anger or triggers. If you're here because of the headline, you're here because I triggered you on purpose. And it's not because I think that Trump supporters are stupid or anything. Honestly, some of the nicest people I've met have been Trump supporters. Okay, so don't think I hate Trump supporters. I just hate mean, rude people. But because someone's a Trump supporter does not make them stupid, does not make them ignorant, doesn't make them any of the things you see labeled on them. Is doing that, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, and it has to do with what's happening. Some people say they are. I'm telling you this: if you believe they are just because they're a Trump supporter, you've been brainwashed. Okay, whether or not you're a Democrat, whether or not you're a Republican, whether or not you're a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter or whatever, if automatically when you hear that somebody is a Trump supporter, you automatically think they're stupid, they're retarded or whatever, or they're brainwashed, they're cultists or anything like that, you, my friend, have been brainwashed. And that's what this video is actually about. Not so much that Trump supporters are stupid, because I don't think they are. I'll give you some examples, okay, or that they're mean or whatever. I don't know if you guys recall when my van broke down in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Florida, in South Florida on Highway 70. I was out there getting ready to get killed out there because cars were whizzing by at 70 miles an hour, and my RV was completely dead. Well, two sets of people stopped to help me. And believe it or not, they were Trump supporters. So, they had the flag and all that stuff on their truck. But they stopped to help me, and I'm not even white, okay? So already the whole thing about Trump supporters being bigots or whatever aren't necessarily true. That's not saying that all Trump supporters are not bigots or whatever. What I'm saying is, when you start labeling a group and categorizing everyone in that group as if that's what they all believe and how they all are, you have been brainwashed. And the reason that occurs is because money, okay? This video, I'm pretty sure, will get a lot of views, just because the headline, will trigger a lot of people. And even that picture is kind of interesting that I stole, if you want to call it that, from the news. I just Googled, Trump supporters in a van, and it showed that picture of I think I Googled like Vanlife Trump supporters or something, and it showed that picture of the van inside, swallowed by the sinkhole. So I decided to use that. But anyhow, my point in all this is this: you need to be careful when you start labeling groups and stuff and believing those labels. What they want to do is trigger you, just as this video did, for you to come here to watch this video, because you either are pro-Trump supporting or not. And when someone hits that nerve, an automatic human reflex is to go check it out. And sadly, that's how the media works nowadays. I mean, it's always worked like that, but nowadays, especially since people have so many choices and it's based on clicks. So the more people that you can get to click on your video, on your topic, on your news broadcast or whatever, the more money you gain to make. And sadly, that means sometimes not sometimes, I'd say a lot of times, businesses, including media and stuff, will trigger people. They do it on purpose, and whether or not it's true, they really don't care. What they do care about is that the headline that they put up, the messaging or whatever, generates a lot of emotions, a lot of anger, because sometimes they'll do stuff to generate like compassion and kindness and laughter, but most of the time, the trigger that sets people off is hate and anger. And sadly, the world nowadays is being filled with that because of social media. People do not click on videos that may be informational, may have good messages and stuff like that. They really don't trigger people. But if you start calling people with racial names, slurs, or categorizing them, you generate a lot of rage and anger, and people will click on your video. Now, I'm just testing that with this video right now, but I'll probably be doing a couple more. Not all of them picking on Trump supporters. Some of them will be picking on the libtards, if you want to call them that. But the point I'm trying to make is this: you need to protect your mind and your heart, and understand that sometimes you don't even know it. It's like a subtle thing. It's like if they keep bombarding you with messages that are negative and messages that promote anger or hatred, and you keep clicking on them, it's like building a subconscious. You're becoming a subconscious zombie almost to that trigger. And I know that this video, I don't know for sure, but my test is to see how many views this video gets compared to my normal videos, which aren't so controversial. I don't think this video is that controversial, but the topic matter and the fact that I used the headline that I did and the imagery is designed to try to trigger YouTube's algorithm. And that is kind of important because I'm trying to grow the channel. Okay, and sadly, trying to grow the channel, I think if you're trying to grow it fast, which is what I'm trying to do, you may have to do some drastic stuff. I'm going to take a look at the messaging on here. Travis wants to know if this is serious. Travis, no, it's not. But it does show you clicked on it, okay? And that is my point. You clicked on it because it triggered you. Hey, Donna, good to see you on here. MoBang. And I don't know if you know, MoBang, I don't know if I should tell him, but MoBang, I think, is a huge Trump supporter. So don't even, and I'm not, so don't even get there. Don't even go there. I don't care who you support, other than that, how you treat people, okay? And I'll be honest, like I said, a lot of the people who have shown me kindness and stuff, they've been Trump supporters or non-Trump supporters. Okay, so to categorize somebody based on their political belief or the candidate that they support or the party they support, you got to be careful, because what you're doing is you're saying everything is black and white, that there's no in-betweens, there's no compromise, there's no that all Trump supporters are dumb, all Democrats are libtards or whatever. That's not true. Okay. There might be some dumb Trump supporters, and there might be some retarded Democrats, okay? And I don't even say retarded, I would say stupid, because just because you're retarded, if you're retarded, you can't help it, because your brain capacity will only go so high. That's what retarded means, you're slow. But if you are dumb, that is something you can work on by getting better educated, okay? But what I was going to say is this: I've been helped by people, whether they're Democrat or Republican or Trump supporters or not. And I've also been hurt by people, attacking me, whether they're Democrat or Republican, Trump supporters or not. So what I'm trying to say is, don't judge people automatically based upon what you believe before you've actually met them and experienced them for yourself to see how they really are. Because when I was stuck out there on the road and could have died on the Highway 70, stuck in a big ass RV, the two groups of people that stopped, the two different vehicles that stopped, were both Trump supporters. And I'm going to tell you how kind they were, okay? One, we had a discussion about politics, which is probably not the best thing to do, but, we had it anyways, just because the guy was a old white dude, and he could see I'm Asian, and he had all these preconceived notions of what Asians are and how Asians are. So he took advantage to ask me some stuff on a personal basis, from a person who doesn't have too much contact with Asians, And, while we were talking, so we talked about it. I talked about Trump and all this other stuff. But the point I'm trying to make is this. He saw that I could have possibly died out there, and he offered to try to have my vehicle towed to his house, to his ranch or whatever that he had out there. So it'd be off the road until I could get it towed to get it serviced. That's like going above and beyond. And he was willing to stay by me. I think he stopped for like a whole 45 minutes, trying to see if I needed help. And another group of young guys, I don't know if you'd call them rednecks. There we go again, another term that people come up with for groups of people. They stopped to see if I needed help. And if I did, they were gonna try to get somebody out there to tow me or move me off the road or something. And that's why it's very important that you don't let yourself fall into the lull of the media and other people telling you what groups you should like, what groups you should hate, what people you should like, which people you should hate. Honestly, I think people, when you look at them without the labels, that's when you have the best judgment on whether someone is retarded, stupid, or whatever, okay? By their behavior and their actions. And now, just because, some people will say, well, the people who support Donald Trump act a certain way. Some of them do, not all of them. The ones you're seeing are the ones the media wants to portray, because by generating that anger, by generating that hate and that stereotype, they garnish a viewership that believes that, and they brainwash you into believing it. And whenever they mention that word or phrase, you automatically click on it to go watch it, and then they make money on it. Now, this video, if it goes onto YouTube's algorithm because, of triggering people, it will end up making me money. And that's the point I'm trying to make, is the people or the companies that are involved in it, they don't really care sometimes. They just want clicks. YouTube and social media is all about popularity. How many clicks, how many shares, how many likes, how many retweets you get. And that is what I think is one of the biggest problems the world faces. Not just the United States, the world. And I think if anything, I'm going to try to do an anti-social media campaign by using social media. So be prepared. There might be some crazy headlines. There may be some crazy videos coming up on this channel. It is an effort twofold. One, I'm studying the YouTube algorithm, okay, and social media and sharing and how YouTube is behaving, as well as the users on YouTube, the viewers, the people out there right now. The other thing is I am trying to grow the channel because it's got to hit a certain point for it to be viable as a pseudo-usable source of income. I'm planning on retiring, many of you know, in Thailand. And if I can hit a threshold of roughly $1,000 a month, if I were able to get YouTube to make $1,000 a month on a regular basis, I could actually live like a king over there on $1,000 a month off YouTube, which would be crazy, but that's the reality. And so I'm working hard on that goal. And part of that means bringing more people into the channel. So those of you who are regulars, you can ignore these headlines that might seem dramatic. Don't let it trigger you. Okay, they're designed to trigger new people. People don't know any better or don't know me. It's going to trigger them to come in, but hopefully when they get here, they'll like the message and they'll like the fact that, I'm not here to really insult anyone or to encourage people insulting one another. I'm here to encourage people working with one another and recognizing each other as humans. Because I think ultimately, the sad thing, or the thing that makes me sad, is when you preach about people being together, humans, accepting one another as humans. Does that mean you have to accept everyone? Because some people are natural assholes. So you don't have to accept an asshole, okay? What I'm saying is, don't prejudge someone as being an asshole when you've never even met them because you think they're a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter or an atheist or a Christian or a Muslim or whatever. When you get into the labels and using that to judge whole groups before you've even met that person, okay, they've won. The people that want to control your mind, that want to turn you into zombies, it means the zombie apocalypse is here and thriving. So this is the same message I've always broadcast. Protect your heart, protect your mind, be careful what you let into it. Know that you will be letting stuff in, not on purpose, but subconsciously, because you can't help it. You're human, and that's how advertising works. That's how people have whole degrees on advertising and psychological warfare and things like that. Just so some of you know, we just had Veterans Day. Some of you might be wondering what I used to do. I used to be what they call public affairs. That's the equivalent of, marketing for the United States Air Force. And so I know a little bit about messing with people's heads. But the other thing is you could also consider it propaganda. So, in the United States, we call it public relations, public affairs. But when it applies to the public affairs or public relations of other nations, we call them propaganda specialists. Okay, it's the same job, just a different title. One sounds better than the other. But I was basically public affairs, and I was a newspaper editor for the United States Air Force at Grissom Air Force Base in Indiana. So I might share a little bit more of that just to show you some background and stuff, because a lot of people only know me as this homeless dude living in a van. But I did have a life before this, and I'll share some of that and share with you the different things that I've learned over my lifetime. So I do appreciate all of you joining me. I'm going to read some of your comments. AA Angry says, I was always told to keep my political opinions to myself, so I do. Honestly, AA Angry, that is the best thing to do if you don't want to trigger anybody. Okay? Normally, and as a serviceman, when I was overseas, they always say, don't talk about politics. That's how people get beheaded. That's how people get killed, okay? When they're overseas, because when you trigger somebody with something with politics and religion, okay, or even sexual orientation or whatever, those are heavy, heavy triggers. And so you might actually see me trying to do that on this channel a little bit because I'm testing something. Don't be angry at me, please. I'm not doing it to piss people off. I'm actually doing it to test YouTube and social media response, and also to kind of benefit a little bit from it. I'm taking advantage of it, in other words. You got to remember, I am was a public relations person. So I do know how it works. That was my specialty. But I haven't been doing it on this channel because I hadn't been trying to grow it in that sense, because some of it I don't like. Ethically, I think it's kind of wrong, but it works. And that's one of the problems. And we'll probably end up ragging on or discussing some other van channels, the ones that have grown and stuff. And I'll tell you why I think they worked or why they grew the way they did. So that may be coming up in future discussions, but it really has to do with triggering people. So if you're trying to grow your own YouTube channel, stay tuned for this series or the discussions that we're going to be having. But it basically has to do with triggering people. And as sad as it is, making people angry can make you popular. And when it makes you popular on YouTube or social media, it means more shares, more likes, more retweets, more money. Just saying says, great job inspiring people to turn their back on you. I'm sure that's a great way to make a living on YouTube. So obviously, the trigger has worked on Just Saying. You can see all the people coming here and they're not even paying attention to what I'm saying, which will be a result of the test too. I'm watching and I'm going to be reading the comments and I'm going to see the numbers, because statistically is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at statistics. The other thing is this: I'm trying to see how much people actually pay attention. Because if they just got triggered, came here, made their comment and left, then that tells you the attention span of people. Donna says she's a political atheist. I think the whole political system is a manipulation. Donna Cooper, that's why people don't discuss politics and stuff like that. But I'm gonna say this: I'm somewhat in agreement with you. I think the safest thing to be, really, as AA Angry says, try not to discuss politics if you don't want to piss people off, if you don't want to get killed, if you don't want to get hated, if you don't want to get crucified, if you don't want to get whatever. Don't discuss politics. Don't discuss religion, whether or not you believe in it. Okay? Don't discuss it. But then you end up being on the quiet side. The people you see that actually grow and become popular or big or whatever, they will usually make a stance, and the stronger their stance, like the more they say they hate a group and they talk about hatred all the time, the bigger the audience gets. You can try to preach compassion, or you can try to preach hate, okay? Compassion and love and all the nice things, the fluffy, soft things, they can garnish some viewership, but they won't garnish as much. I can tell you that. Because people are compassionate when you start degrading them, or they think you're attacking them, or they agree with you. So this is what happens if you start ragging on a group. Okay, if you start hatred, let's say a hate campaign, you actually gain double the growth, because the people who agree with you, they're going to come listen to you because they like to be reinforced with whatever you're preaching, which is negative. Okay, then the people who don't agree with you come to check on you because they want to see what's going on the other side. They want to keep tabs on you, and they may even want to come argue with you and start up a fight. Okay, so that's why these kind of negative channels, these kind of negative news channels and broadcasts, and even YouTube channels and YouTubers, they do so well because they trigger that, and it's not like a magical formula. It's always been there. Okay, the problem is this: trying to teach people, which I'm hoping to do here, to guard themselves against that, because when you allow some dipshit somewhere to tell you what to think and what to believe, what to like and what not to like, you've become a zombie. You've lost your identity. You've lost your ability to process and think for yourself. And I think we were all, if you're a human, if you're alive and a human, you have the ability to think for yourself. Now, some people might find it easier to just join a group and chant and rant or whatever, along with whatever that group believes. Maybe some people like that, okay? Maybe some people don't like to think for themselves. So for them, being a sheep or a cattle or a zombie or whatever, they want to be that. And, that's their personal choice. But what I'm telling you is you really have to be careful what you allow into your brain and into your heart, because it's hard. If you're in Western society, it's all over the place. It's TV, it's the news, even the music you listen to. The music can affect you. And some of you are like, well, I go to church and therefore I'm safe. No, the church is affecting you. The church is just as bad, if you want to call it that, okay, as the social media. If you want to look at cult-like behavior, and you're like, I thought you said you were Christian. I am. But I believe in God, okay? I think the church is great. It's a great place for fellowship and stuff, but I don't think of the church as God, okay? I think of the church as a place to celebrate, and I don't go all the time. I go when I feel like I need to be around others. Most of the time, my God time is by myself, okay? Or with my family and God, because God is everywhere. God's not only in church on Sundays or Easter and Christmas, okay? God is every day, every minute, every second, and everywhere. So don't let the church brainwash you. Don't let the different groups brainwash you, unless you want to. But then if they brainwash you, understand that you're a zombie. You're just echoing, you're just repeating what they told you to say, or what they told you to believe. Hey, Paul, good to see you, and thank you yesterday for your treat yesterday. I'm probably going to spread it out over like several meals. I might do some cooking episodes dedicated to Paul Burns. So I'm going to do Cooking with Denoy dedicated to Paul Burns for trying to make up for my bad day yesterday with dealing with the thank you for your service. Not. Thank you, Paul. Hey, Doji, good to see you on here, man. And George doesn't like discussing politics. Yeah, you're going to see, I'm going to tell you this. The people you see that don't like discussing politics, those are the people that are wise. Okay, wisdom is right there. And you're like, so why is Denoy talking politics? I'm not. I'm talking policy, and I'm talking about brain control, mind control. But reality is this. It is best to keep your political opinion and even your religious opinion to yourself unless you want to garnish enemies. Because those are triggers that set people off, okay? So if you listen to AA Angry or George and some of the others, that's actually the best policy. I'm going to be honest with what happened to me on Facebook that makes me so sad and disappointed. I ended up not blocking, but unfollowing like about 60 or 70% of the people on my family and friends list. Why? They kept pushing political shit, but it wasn't even pushing it. They were like robots. They're like zombies. They're just sharing this stuff that somebody wants to create anger and hatred towards a certain group. And the people that are involved would just share. They see it, they share it. They see it, they share it. I'm like, do you really believe this crap? And if you do, why are you sharing it with me when you know I'm not into it? I don't like politics. I don't like trying to brainwash anyone. I think everyone can look objectively at a situation and make a decision themselves, who they support, what they believe. But when you have to go around feeling like you got to recruit other people, to your belief, whether you're Democrat or Republican or whatever, that's cult behavior, dude. Cults go around recruiting people to get them to see it your way. What you're saying is other people can't make a decision for themselves. You and your cult, your group, will make the decision for them and show them how to think. And so I ended up, originally I was just blocking people, just unfriending people. But I'm like, if I keep at this rate, I'm going to end up with 2 people on my friends list. Me and my other account. So I decided to just, you go to their profile and you can click on it and say unfollow. It doesn't mean you unfriend them or anything. You just don't, their postings just no longer show up on your feed. And since then, my feed has mostly been like puppy dogs and, lamb, sheep, and goats and food. Lots of different ways to cook food. So, and then maybe family postings where they post important things. But some of those I don't see those anymore because I unfollowed those people, even though they're family. Because what was happening was the messages I saw were generating hatred and anger between people and trying to tell people how to think. And I'm like, look, I can think for myself. I'm not going to try to preach to you. And originally I made a posting to tell people that, but everybody ignored my posting and kept posting all the political crap. So until after all this is over, I've got about 60 or 70% of the people on my social media unfollowed. After this, I may go back and turn them back on and follow them again to see their nice postings, positive information, sharing about themselves, their situation, their lives, and whatnot. But I had to do that just for my own sanity. And also because you remember what I said about protecting your mind, protecting your heart? You want to watch what you allow in. Faith Walker Todd says President Trump is the best president to ever grace the White House. I agree with you. Or maybe I don't. Oh, as if on cue, the camera falls. But yeah, basically, when you talk politics like that, and when you make those kind of statements, that's when people get triggered. And when you make it either, you're actually going to get triggered on both ends. You're going to get the people who believe just like you do, and they will come to support. And then you're going to get the people who don't agree, and they will come to argue. So, quick tip for those of you who want to grow your YouTube channel really fast, make a lot of friends and a lot of enemies at the same time. State something like, like you don't even have to be politics, but it is kind of somewhat related to politics. You can say this, guns are the best things in the world, or being able to have guns, or anything that you see that are triggers, it will make your views go way up. So, hey, Timothy, MoBang, you want to get lots of views? Show your gun collection. And talk about how every American has that right. And then you're going to get the people who agree with you. They will come to support you. And you're going to get the people who are anti-gun come to cuss you out and start trolling you. So, that's one way to grow your channel. But then your channel, see, the problem with doing that is this. Then your channel is full of people who either are super, super adamant about what you posted and they support you. And then you get the people who absolutely hate you and come to rag on you. Now, that could end up tearing up your channel because, it's a channel in conflict. It's like not everyone's not together on the same page. But if all you care about is the number of views and your channel's monetized, because that's all YouTube cares about. YouTube doesn't care about guns and all that stuff. All they care is how many people are clicking on your video. So, you can get a lot of views that way. Just scrolling through. Hey, Mike, good to see you on here. And Faith Walker Todd, I agree with a lot of what you say. And I don't agree with you in certain aspects, which I'm not going to get into it because it'll be political, And I'm on the side of AA angry and whoever that atheist is, Basically, when you talk about certain things, some people get very angry and then they forget the I guess I would say the commonality that holds us all together as humans, or in the case of Americans, as Americans. I know that even in the military, um, you don't, especially in the military, you shouldn't discuss politics because, you know, that guy in the trench next to you, you want to make sure he has your back. If you're out there and you're getting shot at, you want to make sure the dude right beside you there is going to guard you, regardless of whether or not he believes the same political views as you have. So the military, you know, generally you don't talk too much about politics. Although the military will tend to lean a certain way. Most of the military will lean a certain way. But generally you don't talk about that kind of stuff just because those kind of things, politics, sexual orientation, race relations, and things like that, they tend to divide groups. They divide people and make them not the same. Like here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to describe a certain group of people. You can tell me if I'm talking about Democrats or Republicans. Okay, these are Americans that I've met. Have gone above and beyond. You know, when they saw that I wasn't Americanized yet. I was still, you know, when I was new to America, and I didn't know all the rules and policies. And they actually would help me, you know, try to help me by finding out what I needed. And sometimes some of them even went so far as to like help me translate with other people, you know, to make sure that I was okay. And just went above and beyond and did that. They would come and check on my family and bring free clothes and things like that to help us get Americanized, because they were like American clothes. When we first came to the United States, my family didn't have a lot. And, you know, basically just looked out for us and kind of protected us from bad people. And, you know, I would ask you this, that group of, that person or that family, were they Republican or were they Democrat or were they independent? I'm going to be honest, it didn't really matter, okay? I don't know what they were. They didn't tell me if they were Democrat or if they were Republican, whatever. They didn't even tell me anything about themselves, if they were religious or not, okay? But they did show to me their kindness as an American and as a human. And, you know, when we get to that point where we judge people based upon their actions and how they treat other people, I think that's going to be an ideal situation. I don't know if we're ever going to get there, especially with the system that is in current existence in America and throughout the rest of the world. You know, the reason they do that, they have all these so-called parties. It's easy to generate hate. It's you know, like I said, if you get to the point where you can make a certain group believe that another group is a certain way, then all you have to do is tag that person or that group with that label, and then they get discredited and hated automatically. People don't even listen to them, don't even give them a chance, don't even get to know them. And that's the problem. And that's the thing I'm trying to preach is try to get out of that mode where you are essentially a sheep or a zombie repeating what the group told you. You're not Borg, okay? But that's what they turned you into, like Borg. We are Borg. The group that you have affiliated yourself with have brainwashed you. Do you see all the anger there? I see Marion, isn't it Marlon Johnson says, this title better be a joke, as you would be alienating your viewers and wouldn't be smart with what you're doing on YouTube. And see, that's the thing. It's like this channel, not this channel, but this particular video, I'm willing to bet will get a lot of views. And a lot of angry comments and the people saying they're unsubbing and leaving. And that's okay. Okay, because they didn't even get the message. And the fact that what I'm doing is actually testing YouTube's algorithm and also making a point. And that's why you see certain channels. I don't know if you guys recall Nomadic Fanatic taking a shower out in Walmart. Remember that episode that he did that? That's when his channel really blew up, okay? Because he did something that everybody knew, every Van Dweller knows, don't do that. That's going to get Van Dwellers banned. And as a matter of fact, I might do a video on this, even though I don't think it's true, although it could be partially true. Actually, it's kind of partially true. But, you know, when you have people like Nomadic Fanatic taking a shower in a Walmart parking lot openly, you know, setting a shower tub and setting all that up, that's the kind of shit that gets Van Dwellers banned from parking at Walmart. And now we're seeing the fallout of it. So, you know, what I'm talking about is this. if you do crazy stuff to grow your channel, you could be causing a problem for the whole group. So we can all hate Nomadic Fanatic now. If I start putting up a whole bunch of hate videos on Nomadic Fanatic, this channel will explode. It'll grow like crazy. Do you know why? Because see, there's a segment of the van dweller community and the RV community that absolutely hate Nomadic Fanatic for whatever reason. And if I post a hate video about Nomadic Fanatic, my channel will grow, which to me is messed up. I don't know Nomadic Fanatic, okay? I know some of his videos, I watch some of his stuff, and I don't agree with a lot of what he does and the way he does it, but he's a master at growing his channel. So if you're a YouTuber wanting to, you know, someone in van dwelling or RVing and wanting to grow your channel, if you watch his videos where he's not just giving a tour or something, but where he does certain crazy stuff or shows his equipment and things like that and talks a little bit about being a YouTuber, which were some of his earlier videos, they will actually help you grow your channel. Okay. Marlon says, I disagree. Stand up for what you believe. Just be grateful about it and not hateful. Yeah, Marlon says, this is how it should be. No one should try to force any narrative down your throat. The problem you're going to have with this, Marlon, is this. It doesn't seem forced. People readily share it. I told you I had to block or unfollow a bunch of family members on Facebook because they automatically, as soon as this message comes from that party, they hit share and they share it to everybody again. They don't even process it. They automatically share it because they're like, this is the view. This is the way it should be. And that's the problem. It doesn't seem like it's ramming it down your throat, but it is a brainwashing that occurs. And that's what this video is actually about, is trying to protect yourself from that. And part of that means possibly disconnecting a bit from social media. Or the other thing is going to videos like even this one objectively. But the problem you're going to have is this. Most videos, when they talk about hatred and stuff, they're not going to be objective. They're going to be one-sided, okay? And the issue you're going to run into is the more of those kind of videos that you watch, the more it starts to implant and seed itself into your brain. Because I think Twitter and Facebook are bad technologies, just for the reasons you stated. I don't use them. They are giant Skinner boxes. We have a blind spot. Angry, I am 100% in agreement with you. And not even that, just even YouTube to an extent, okay? Any social media can be, as a technologist, you know, I'm a computer nerd type guy. Watching, you know, I was there from the early days of the internet when you had to, you know, when everything was like on the spiders and the web spiders and all those things that you had to use. But the point I'm trying to make is this. Social media and technology has been great for mankind, but it's also potentially the thing that will kill mankind. It may be the downfall of mankind because it's so easy to hit share and you didn't even process what it is you're really sharing. And a lot of times what people share are messages of anger and hatred and alienation and segregating people into smaller groups. And that's the big problem I see with social media. Harden, Harden is expressing, he says, thank you, Jesus, for President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Harris. And I'm sure the people who aren't into that, don't agree with that, will be angered by that, triggered by that. So you can see what happens when you talk politics. You get those who are in 100% agreement and those who are in 100% disagreement. And it generates all that conflict. And the people that are in the conflict, they say, I don't care, I got to prove my point. The problem is this video that you're watching right now will probably do well, will probably do better than most of my videos. And I could say, you know, I don't even care either way, as long as the video does well, which would be wrong. I mean, it's not wrong. I mean, it's not wrong. Basically, I do care. I do care that I hope people actually didn't just click the title and then leave their comment and leave, but actually watch the video and understand that I'm trying to show you here that you need to protect your mind and you need to protect your heart, because it's so easy to manipulate someone when they trigger one of the core things, you know, anger, hatred, even fear. There you go, MoBangs. World War II guns. Their whole channel is dedicated to guns and making guns and using guns. I'm just scrolling through here. An old lady says, yeah, it's a good plan to set a trigger for views, but too far might lose some solid views just to pick up some new temporary views. I'd go for the long run, just dipping lightly into triggered territory. You know, that's actually a very good idea. And the other thing is that this is what, the thing is, if your viewers know, I would hope that my regulars know that I tend not to be too left or too right. I tend to try to walk down the center, not because it'll generate the most views, but because I think it's the most balanced of the two. You don't want to be too far right. You don't want to be too far left, because those are called extremists. Understand? Extremely left or extremely right. It's probably best to walk down the middle, because somewhere in the middle is a thing called compromise, and it's a thing called accepting of both sides. Okay? But what I found that was really interesting about one of the channels that I watch occasionally, there's this guy, gosh, I forget his channel. I really need to look these up. I might link it later. It's a guy trying to live off grid, and he and his wife moved to one of the states. I don't know if it was Missouri or whatever, and they're trying to build a little house off grid. And every single video he makes, the headline is like a lie or a trigger. He posts about how like the trolls or whatever have tried to shut down his channel. The police are coming to destroy his house, or weird stuff like that, that when you watch his video, it's not true. But each of his videos get probably 5,000 to 7,000 views, which isn't a huge amount, but compared to my regular subscribers, you know, his subscriber base is just slightly more than mine, and he gets way more views per video because of those triggers. And I'm like, well, you know what? I'm trying to grow this channel, but like an old lady says, you don't want to piss off your base viewers, because these are the people who keep the views up every week. You know, they also are the ones who get to know you and become your friends, kind of. Although some become your enemies. But basically, you don't want to make these people feel isolated or what is it called? Alienated. And that is true. But what I notice about his videos, I'm like, what's crazy is I'll look at his headline, which is crazy, and it triggers me, because I'm like, he'll say like, they took away my small tiny house, it's over, you know, that kind of stuff. That's the headlines. And then it gets a lot of clicks because people think that they actually took away his tiny house and whatnot. Then I go to his channel and he doesn't even talk about that. He's talking about other crap. Okay, but the trigger words, you know, because I'm trying to get into a tiny house and I'm trying to avoid my tiny house being taken away or whatever, make me click on his video. So it's like baited, you know, it's a baited thumbnail and a baited title. So I may have to start doing that if I want to grow this channel. So I'm just letting you guys know, those of you who are my regular viewers, maybe you might not want to pay too much attention to the headlines. the caption and the thumbnails, because what it comes down to is any YouTube channel that wants to grow is gonna have to bring people in. Okay, newcomers, you're gonna lose some as your content starts to change. You know, like especially like I can see this channel changing, especially once I move to Thailand. So you know, but if I can, I'll try to get a van or some kind of vehicle to live in or travel in over there and deck that out, just because, you know, it's homage to how this channel started. An old lady says, oh my God, shower out in a parking lot, bad idea, especially if you look like me. That video of his garnished, you know, that was Nomadic Fanatic who took a shower out in a Walmart parking lot. It generated so much anger and hate from the van dweller community, as well as the RV, well, mostly at the time he was a van dweller, the van dwelling community, that they shared his posting literally hundreds or thousands of times on different social media, and he got a lot of hate on it. But see, the thing is, all these people came to his channels for hate and stuff, and then YouTube saw all the views, the links that were clicked there, and that video went semi-viral, and then it brought in all these new people to his channel, and he exploded, and now he's living in a nice fancy RV. Okay, so I don't think he did that on accident. Nomadic Fanatic's pretty smart savvy when it comes to business and YouTube. So he, in my opinion, did it on purpose, and that was to trigger the YouTube algorithm to bring out all those people over there. MoBang says, I stopped watching Eric's channel because he is a fake and pretentious person. So what you're saying, MoBang, is I need to learn to be more fake and pretentious if I want to grow my channel. And MoBang says he's selling the dream to wishfully thinking. Honestly, MoBang, I agree with you 100%. The problem is this, okay? And this is the big problem with social media. And that's why all those van life channels with the half-naked girls laying in the bed or standing under the waterfall and stuff, they do so well. They're not selling reality. They're selling a fantasy. You know, anytime you can promote something that is glamorous, that seems like it's easy, it's a fantastic way to be, and anyone can do it, you get a lot of people who follow you. And then when they try to do it themselves, they see that was bullshit. But it doesn't matter because, see, by then your channel has like 100,000 subscribers or millions and millions of views. You make a lot of money. My calculation says he probably makes more than $130,000 a year now off his channel. Yeah. Dude's got, dude could retire in Thailand as a king almost. Just scrolling through here. Hey, Amy, good to see you back on here. See, Amy Purdue disappeared off this channel until I put that title on there and she came. The Geek Maid says, Mr. Denoy, I have so much respect for you, but your title is a put-off. I am a Trump supporter, and I don't appreciate him, not even a veteran, calling me stupid. One love. The Geek Maid, I don't think you're stupid, but you did get triggered, so hopefully you understand. Hopefully you stayed long enough to see that I don't really believe Trump supporters are stupid. Honestly, I don't. I do not believe. I'll say it again. Maybe to please the Trump supporters. Trump supporters are the smartest people in the world. The point I'm trying to make is when you trigger someone, it generates those views, and that's what the problem is with social media. Donna says Rob is stating what his trolls are saying. I think it is humorous that he uses this method, and I think Donna might be talking about the guy with the tiny house off grid or whatever. I don't know, but basically. Growing your channel on YouTube, as messed up as it seems, means trying to cater to base instincts that force people to click. Now, in order to, I'll be honest, and like some of my viewers here, my loyal viewers know, you can't piss off your regular viewers. If all you do is piss people off, you're not going to grow your channel, okay? So you've got to have a personality and a belief that a lot of viewers also share in order to have your core support, your core group, your core viewers. So, I'm just warning you guys, if you see these weird things, and I know some of the Trump people are hating me right now because of that headline. Hopefully they've stayed long enough to watch the video and see that I just made it up to trigger people. But I'll probably be trying to trigger the Democrats here coming up. So, the Biden supporters here soon too, just to make a case in point on that side. So if you see these extreme headlines or really weird thumbnails and stuff like that, it's me doing another test. This channel has always been about live testing and showing you what actually works and what doesn't work. So I'm going to be testing YouTube's algorithm and testing my hunch on what it will take to actually grow this channel. If I'm able to succeed, let's make a plan. If I'm able to succeed, then within 1 year, this channel should have 20 to 25,000 subscribers. That should double our size right now. So my personal goal over the next year is to double the size of this channel to 20, maybe 25,000 subs by the end of 2021. That is my personal goal. And the only way I can really think of doing that is I got to grow the channel, and that means triggering a whole bunch of people. So you've been warned. I'm just scrolling through here. all these people here. Yeah. Now, see. Thank you, Marlon, for staying long enough instead of saying "screw you," unsub. Okay, because that's what does happen sometimes when you try these kind of things. Some people get so triggered, they so upset, they don't even watch the message, even though it's not real, it's not true. But it is true in the sense that I'm telling you that that's the danger we face with social media. It is so easy to trigger somebody. Now, if I truly am successful in the trigger on this channel, I expect this video to have 1,000 or more views within a week. If it has less than 1,000 or 2,000 views, I failed. If it has more than 2,000 views, this trigger worked. Just scrolling through. Hey, pretty girl. Anyhow, I am going to go ahead and sign off. I hope you guys didn't get too offended. My apologies if you're a Trump supporter and you felt that I was attacking you. I'm not. Some of the smartest people I've met have been Trump supporters. Some of the kindest people I've met, and you've seen some of them on this channel, have been Trump supporters. Heavy Trump supporters, mind you. If you don't know who that is, you can just, well, if you don't know who that is, you should read the comments on there. He's actually pretty neutral on here, which is pretty good, you know, but I'm going to let you know, okay? If you guys don't know, Timothy, I don't know if you guys know how much Timothy helps me on this channel and helps other people, not just me, and some of it isn't even publicized or broadcast, but Timothy goes above and beyond helping people, including on this channel, helping me directly. And he is a big Trump supporter. So, you know, I'm not saying that Trump supporters are the best, although Trump supporters will believe they are the best. And they may be, I don't know. What I'm saying is this. Don't let people trigger you and turn you into a zombie. Always protect your mind, your heart, and try not to let them turn you into a sheep that just shares without actually thinking. And try not to let them turn you into someone who's prejudiced about a certain group or a certain race or a certain political viewpoint. Because see, when they do that, you've given up your ability to process, your ability to think for yourself. You've given up your ability to judge. God, if you believe in God, okay, gave every one of us the ability to think and process and have a choice in what we choose to believe and who we support and how we treat people. My big advice would be this. Drop the politicalness and look at people for what they really are. And that's not saying that everyone is nice or everyone is mean, but what I'm saying is don't automatically judge people based on their political belief, their religious belief, their ethnic group, or whatever. Meet them and get to know them. Then you can make judgments. And you can't make judgments for the whole group. You can only make judgments for that particular person that you met. Anyhow, I love you all too, Geek Maid. Thank you very much. And Daniel, good to see you on here, Sunshine Travels. I do appreciate all of you for coming on here. I love you, old lady. I love all of you who have given me your support throughout the years. All of you who don't get triggered so easily. That means you understand me a little bit more. And hopefully you stayed long enough to understand that this was just a test. I'm going to be doing another test that's probably going to piss off all the Democrats here very soon. So until next time, everyone, take care. God bless you all. Please stay safe. And remember, don't be a sheep.